Hi guys, follow me on Instagram to never ever miss any of my crazy updates. So we are all set to go, but first let me show you the reverse camera. This is the reverse parking camera. It obviously gets adaptive guidelines as well. Meanwhile, we are in drive mode right now. Let's select Sport Plus. Yes, we are in Sport Plus as well. There is the AMG display right in front. Let's get out of this right away so that I can show you this meter as well. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor. There's no point, it doesn't rev only. This is so Volkswagen GT TSI, and there it goes. And there's no race start either. But boy oh boy, the acceleration is absolutely ballistic, because in spite of this, oh my god, there is the crackles and the pops and the spits and the bangs and everything on the overrun, which is just so amazing. And you can see the G-force meter, but I'm less interested about the G-force meter. All I care right now is going through these expansion joints, because the ride quality is unbearably stiff. OMG, AMG, what have you done? Why such an atrocious ride quality on this car? Yeah, oh my god, we can hear so much and more. Anyways, here onto the gas. The consumption levels go through the sky, and the motor likes to absolutely bang and spit and do all of that and more. But you know what? Please understand the difference here. Every time you lift off the throttle now, there is an occasion which happens, and that occasion is nothing but the the braps, and of course the way it goes. OMG, AMG. Now I know I'm sounding excited, because I am extremely excited, but I'm also very disappointed. Now I'll tell you something. First and foremost, let's set a base here. Okay.
It's completely there.
Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, and here we go now. Obviously, I had to open the roof of the car because the windows are so small. There was massive overexposure. All you could see was super bright stuff. There's some error with the roof right now. It keeps beeping and saying open, close roof. Arey boss, band hai puri roof achhe se. Anyways, coming to the car, let me tell you, yes, it's not as exciting as I believed it to be, or I wanted it to be, because compared to the GTR, the AMG GTR, okay, we're putting a context here. The AMG GTR only costs rupees 5.5 lakhs more, offers more than 100 horses, 109 to be precise, and more Newton meters of torque. It's faster from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour. Not only that, it's faster in terms of top speed. It's a better handler, and it's got 9 levels of traction control system. Meanwhile, the AMG GT, which is the base variant of the Mercedes AMG GT, lacks a lot of grunt in comparison, because this one produces 476 horsepower and 630 Newton meters of torque. Now the good thing is that 630 Newton meters of torque comes in at a low 1700 RPM and stays flat all the way to 5000 RPM, giving absolutely ballistic performance. The performance is absolutely mind-boggling, both in terms of the city and the highway as well. Why am I saying city and highway? Because in the city the drivability is really very nice. Turbo lag is well contained. Turbo lag is not there actually. That is the level of smoothness and performance on offer. Now thankfully I can talk a bit saintly now, because we are in a jam. There's space now roof mein to fix. Don't cough. Ready? The result is 0 to 100 kilometers per hour takes 4 seconds. The GTR takes 3.6 seconds, is dramatically quicker as well. Now, how do you tackle all this and more? Well, straight away, let me tell you, this is about unlimited headroom, which is the USP of this car. The GTR just makes so much more sense for the slight amount of money you're going to pay extra, because that is just so much better in every way. The way it handles also is better. Now, this car is no slouch. Okay, it weighs 60 kgs more than the GTR, but the handling is also very nice and precise. How is this been achieved? Well, weight distribution 47-53. What is that? 47 weight at the front, 53 at the rear. In fact, this M176 motor is not placed on the nose. It is actually, okay, that's a horse van. This is also no less of a horse van, because there's so many horses in this car right now which I'm driving. But still, anyways, I was telling you that the engine is placed so much close. I kid you not, it's almost under the dashboard. Hey M176, are you doing alrighty? Yes, I'm alright. You want all those horses? Here we go. No, I don't want all those horses, because I know traction control is fully on, not on sport. If I put on sport, it lets me wag my tail as well. I'm not a dog, but still. Anyways, the whole point here I'm trying to say is that Mercedes has focused a lot on handling and drivability. This is a car which has multiple characters, not one, not two, but a multitude of characters, it can be a daily driver as long as you can bear with the ride quality, which is on the absolute stiff side. It's atrocious to say the least. I mean, every time you go through these expansion joints, you wonder that why is the road department taking so much tax and not doing its job, because that is the level of stiffness on offer. And if the Mercedes AMG GTR was unbearable, this is slightly less unbearable, but it's still on the point of being unbearable because that is the way it rides. I mean, every time, you know, there's a continuous motion which is happening, which is not that good at all. I mean, it makes you feel very uncomfortable somehow, but that's also because of the low profile tires and of course the super stiffness of the vehicle. The removal of this roof has been one of the causes for the added weight, because they had to really stiffen up the body, and they've used a lot of aluminium. They've also used a lot of carbon fiber to keep the weight in check. 1670 kgs, well, doesn't sound like much, but you don't feel that either which ways. I love the way the car drives. The long nose is such a treat when you're driving the car. You know, to put it into perspective, if you actually go to one of the corners of any country, I am actually sitting in Nepal, the tail is in India, and the nose of the car is in Bhutan. That is the length of the vehicle. Now, I know I exaggerated it a bit too much, but my geography also sucks, so let's leave it at, you know, I lift off the throttle and still there's something which is pulling this vehicle ahead, right ahead. That is the level of thrust on offer. Anyways, let's go through a bit of a history. The SLS AMG was being prepared to be discontinued in 2013. In 2014, the AMG GT was unveiled. In 2015, the AMG GTS was launched in India. In 2016, the AMG GTR was unveiled. In 2017, the AMG GT lineup was updated. I need to take a deep breath. Also, the AMG GTR and the AMG GT Roadster were launched in the Indian market. And in 2018, they discontinued the GTS. In 2019, I drove the GTR in India. In 2020, they launched the GT63S, and I'm also driving the GT Roadster. In 2021, probably we'll get the next generation model. Aap chronology samjhiye, yeah? Anyways, around the corners, it's an absolute treat. But this GT Roadster costs so much money, yet doesn't offer much, which is a bit of a disappointment for me, because it doesn't get race start. Yeah, that's right. There's no race start on offer. Forget race start. There is no race mode only in this car, which is optional. In fact, AMG ride control is also optional on this car. So adaptive dampers are part of optional equipment. Again, a little bit of a disappointment in that regard, because come on, an AMG without a race start or a race mode is like pizza without cheese. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And on that front, let me tell you that the brakes are super duper strong. Now this one gets optional carbon ceramic brakes, which are 40% lighter, but the amount of movement I have every given moment is just staggering. The ride quality is atrocious to say the least, and there you can't lift the nose, but the nose is not the problem. The problem is somewhere at the rear where it touches, so ground clearance is also atrocious. Meanwhile, this is actually a very drivable car because the engine is designed that way. Okay, it produces so much torque that's always ready on the get-go. Top speed is around 302 kilometers per hour. In fact, for the Roadster model, when compared to the coupe, what AMG has done is reduce the final drive as well as the 7th gear. The gearing has been altered, and the first gear has been made taller to an extent where right now we are in first, and oh my god, the shift from this 7-speed AMG speed shift gearbox is so fast. It's so fast, I can't keep up with it. It shifts in a flash. It shifts so fast. The gear shift is done already, and the best thing is it's not always on the boil. When you drive it in comfort mode, you can feel a significant difference in the way the engine responds. Now, there are 4 drive modes on offer. There's individual, there's comfort, there's sport plus, and they all alter 5 things actually. There's the ESP. ESP has 3 modes. There is off, there is on, and there is sport for the ESP. Then there is obviously the engine, which gets altered, the transmission, which is the gearbox, gets altered, the suspension gets altered, and the steering wheel too. The steering is beautifully fluid, very responsive, and you know, it feels easy to twirl when you're driving in comfort mode, but the ride quality doesn't really improve dramatically in comfort mode somehow. It's like, you know, when you get into comfort mode, you're like, yes, I should get some comfort on offer. It's the same way when you feel that you're going to get tan, you apply sunscreen, but psychologically is the effect which you get positively, that yes, something's going to happen now, I'm not going to get tan. But honestly, it's all psychological. It's just like applying sunscreen, putting this into comfort mode. And I know you guys are saying this, and I know what you're saying. We are in a tunnel, so here, downshift, and you know, the cracks, the pops on the overrun, they are so satisfying, and the throttle is so responsive as well. Every given moment, you know, no lag, clear cut pull all the way to almost 7,000 RPM, and it just does not stop there. It keeps pulling and pulling. Fuel economy is 4 kilometers per liter, and this has a fuel tank capacity of 75 liters with 10 liters in reserve. So what is really the difference between the GT and the GTR? They don't feel like the same car, honestly, because the GTR is so hardcore in terms of the way it handles, the way it rides. Oh god, but it's actually longer and wider as well. How is that possible? And it is the same car. Well, at the front, the width is the same, but the track is wider because of the wider tires. At the rear, again, the width is the same, but the track is wider and also the width is increased because of the new bumper at the rear. And at the front, actually the car's nose is longer, which makes it longer in terms of length.
Every 60 seconds in Africa, a minute passes.
What all do we have in terms of the AMG GT lineup? Well, there are a slew of cars. It all starts with the AMG GT, the base variant, which I'm driving right now. Okay, this is the base variant of the AMG GT. Now to top it up, you have an AMG GTS, slightly more power, 510 I believe. And then above that, we have the AMG GTC, which also gets rear wheel steering. Rear wheel steering, which actually turns the opposite as the front wheels to 100 kilometers per hour and turns the same way as the front wheels past 100 kilometers per hour, just to make handling that much more better and sweeter. Beyond that, there is of course the GTR, which I've already vlogged on, and then there is the GTR Pro, which is sold out, only 750 units. Now you get the convertible version, rather, Roadster in Mercedes speak, in the GT as well as the GTC, and there was a limited edition 750 units only of the GTR Roadster. They are going to be coming up as another variant of the GTR, which is going to be the GTR Black Series, I believe. Again, the difference between the GTR and the GTR Pro is not in terms of output numbers, it's purely in terms of the handling. They've made it even further hardcore as such. Anyways, get into the gas. The active exhaust, the AMG performance exhaust, never disappoint. Press a button and then the exhaust becomes louder and that much more satisfying. But the amount of movement all throughout is baffling to me, because it makes me so worried. You know what? To get to a smooth road like this, I had to, and this road is not smooth also. The AMG GT actually is a measurement of the road quality, because this road doesn't feel smooth at all. The car moves around so much. I had to cross 574 speed breakers, and you can imagine you have to go all the time in an angle, and still when the car scrapes, it's like it hurts your heart. It's like someone put a knife through it. That's the amount of pain I encounter every time I have to drive this car, but hey, I'm just doing my job. Anyways, the gearbox is super precise. You can obviously go into manual mode as well, and then the car will not upshift unless and until you decide to do so. Here we are into manual gearbox, and then oh my god, that pop is amazing. Here we are, okay, into first gear. There, 7,000 RPM, does 70 kilometers per hour in first. And manual mode is absolutely not of any sense whatsoever, because the gearbox does a great job on its own. You don't have to ask anything from it. It's such a beautiful gearbox. Now it's a dual clutch unit, which means that one is transferring torque to the rear wheels, meanwhile the other gear is already ready and selected, and that's why the shifts are super fast. Like, to put it into simple words, the gear shifts are lightning fast without a second thought. Handling is beautiful. Body roll, well, that concept is there in the GT Roadster, but not there in the GTR. I wonder what the GTR Black Series would be, or forget that for a moment, the GTR Pro would be. Anyways, with the update which they did in 2017, they actually added 13 horsepower and 30 Newton meters to the base GT, and all this actually just improves everything. In fact, the top speed difference between the coupe and the Roadster is just 1 kilometer per hour. Well, dropping the roof hasn't really robbed away anything from the AMG GT, because it still performs flawlessly. Sport handling mode for the traction control. Yeah, baby. Okay, don't get scared. Here we are, left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator. The motor does not rev, that is the problem. And off we go. Neha, turn on the traction control, please. Press that button once and we'll be all sorted. So you can see all those things right there. Anyways, the thing is that, when you get into sport handling mode, it lets you wag your tail out a bit and it lets the car be playful. But I am not wanting that car to be playful, because with the traction control on also, you can feel the rear step out so many times. It has happened. The rear has stepped out, the traction control system has intervened and put everything back into perspective. I hate these expansion joints. I feel each and every one of them on each and every bone of my body, because OMG, what is happening? We really need smoother roads now. I think this car needs butter smooth roads. And you know, every time I see a small bump, my heart comes into my mouth. Thankfully, my mouth is really very small. Otherwise, my heart would have popped out of my mouth also. Anyways, I love the character of this motor. So while the E63S is cheaper and faster by 0.6 seconds to the ton, this AMG GT has a different character altogether. Okay, this car is not about posting faster actually it is about posting faster lap times. It is actually not about outright acceleration as such. It's about, you know, handling, it's about usability, it's about the character. This car is a mix of so many things all together. It feels like a muscle car the way it goes. It obviously feels like a race car as well. You can drive it on the track, and then with the Roadster model, with the roof down, you can have a lot of the wind in the hair as well. So a great mixture of almost everything you would need in a sports car. You could hear the wheels screeching for traction. Mercedes could easily throw in a 4MATIC system. They did not, thank God for that. But next generation might have a 4MATIC system because they honestly need to keep the car pointing straight. But that's the fun of this car. Now, it uses an aluminium space frame. In fact, the drive shaft is made of carbon fiber, and the sunroof takes, no, I'm saying sunroof, it's not a sunroof. The roof actually takes 11 seconds to go either up or down, and you can operate it till a speed of 50 kilometers per hour, which is again ballistic. But the character is unbelievable of this engine. Honestly, you would buy an AMG GT for the character itself. The Jaguar F-Type SVR is around the same price, probably cheaper as well, at least not in India, abroad though, but it's faster. However, the character of this Mercedes AMG is just something else. They've got the best of everything and put it so beautifully well. The steering, wow, so much fluidity. The tires, more than enough grip you would ever need to corner hard and fast. And of course, the playfulness of this vehicle make it a staggering machine. But like I said in the start, and I'm going to say it again, this GT Roadster makes no sense to me whatsoever. Mercedes should sell at least the GTC Roadster in the Indian market, because at its price, the GTR just feels so much better as a sports car. Now, that is not a Baleno RS, but anyways, here we go. It just flies. Okay, the thrust levels are absolutely insane throughout the full rev range. Rear tire absolutely scrambling for traction. But that's the unbelievable part about AMGs, you know, they are so mad. In a way, you would love them. Kya hua? Now the thing is, what would make this car even better is the addition of certain features which I believe has happened in the 2020 model, because I think 2020 again they have given some updates to this car. So the whole point is a heads-up display would be a real sweet addition in this vehicle, making a quick overtake on the highway. Well, what's that? Get into the gas and, you know, it overtakes, and it thanks the other person for moving around or moving away by, you know, those cracks and pops and all those things, which is absolutely busting. I don't think I did the wiper test, so here we are with some water. It's not raining yet. Coming into the tunnel is absolute fun, but water is falling from somewhere. Absolutely screams like a mad machine. This car is absolute. Oh my god, how many times will you use the word absolute? This, you know, when you're driving it a little bit more aggressively, you need all the skill set in the world to pilot this machine. The revs are high. Neha is telling me that she can feel the engine heat till here, because of course the motor can get a bit hot, but then after all it is a hot motor. Let's take this narrower entry or exit or whatever you want to say. Just see the precision of the steering wheel. Yeah, a little bit more input, but honestly this is absolutely ballistic. If I get into the throttle, it's going to wag its tail. What a car, what a machine. So guys, this is my vlog of the massively awesome Mercedes AMG GT Roadster, and I'm going to take the liberty of changing its name by not calling it the GT Roadster. I will say get the GTR if you are looking to buy a sports car from Mercedes-Benz. However, the only reason you would buy this one is because this is now the Mercedes AMG GT Unlimited Headroom. And if you like this vlog, you know what you have to do, give it a thumbs up. That's the like button, and also subscribe to the channel. Neha is celebrating right now because...
Oh, I'm celebrating. Look at my condition. With roof open and everything. Kitna I have to go through because of your vlogs.
Convertible hai, maze lo.
Kai ki mazak, cheap not real. pollution हो रहा है.
So I know, that's what I'm saying. The Roadster makes no sense to me whatsoever. And just to make matters worse for you,